Welcome to our popular rappers brackets where we have 32 different rappers going head to head in a tournament style. And if you guys are actually a fan of the podcast, we just launched our YouTube memberships where you guys can get early access to videos, custom emotes, and even badges next to your name in future live streams. So if you guys want to join the memberships, the link is in the description. But Lou, let's get into this, man. Are you hyped?
I'm ready for this, man. It's cool because we also have a lot of rappers in here who got out in the first round the last time that we did this. So let's see if they go further this time. The first matchup on side A is going to be A$AP Rocky versus Travis Scott. These guys are often compared. There's this whole idea of like Travis jacked A$AP Rocky style, which I kind of disagree with. I feel like Travis is more inspired by Cudi and Kanye. But when it comes to a head-to-head, it's tough to say just because they do make similar music in the sense that it's often style over substance, I feel like.
Yes, to a certain extent,
but
though.
Rocky's the better rapper. We could agree on that.
Absolutely. Rocky is the better rapper, but as far as catalog goes, I would give the edge to Travis. I think that he does get the catalog.
But Rocky has the better mixtape in terms of mixtape catalogs.
That's very true. He does have the better mixtape catalog. I am a believer that at long last A$AP is on the level of a Rodeo and an Astroworld, and I also think that it's better than Rodeo low key. So I do think I do think you see the higher highs on Rocky's side of things, but it's up to you because honestly, like these are some of my favorite artists, and I could go either way. Where do you want to go with this?
It's such a like even discography, just because Travis emphasizes more of the world building, but Rocky has the classic mixtape, and I just think that in terms of just talent, I'm leaning more towards Rocky. I think I want to go with Rocky over Travis.
I want to go with Rocky as well. Okay, perfect. Rocky is going to advance. So Travis Scott gets bounced a second time
in the first round.
Bad luck.
Can't catch a fucking break. We love you, Travis. Next matchup, though, we got Denzel Curry versus JID. Two guys that have totally mastered the art of flow. Two of my favorite rappers from this generation.
Absolutely.
I don't know where the fuck to go with this, to be honest with you, but I do feel like when it comes to Denzel, absolute pioneer for the SoundCloud scene for what he was doing with Raider Clan. Not only that, but he managed to sort of outlive the one-hit wonder type of status he got after Ultimate. Even when you're looking at like who he came up with in 2016, a total outcast from his peers, but still managed to be successful. A near flawless catalog from nostalgic all the way to Melt My Eyes See Your Future. The evolution has been beautiful. I just feel like for now, maybe Jid has more potential, but as of right now, Denzel has been the more impactful artist and has shown more of himself, I feel like. More range.
I guess you could say that, but JID has been on a run as well. Like even mixtapes like Bada 2, super low-key mixtape, but fantastic stuff in their songs like Liverpool are still in rotation. Even going back to his track record, you have the Never Story, you have DiCaprio 2, and you have the Forever Story. I mean, that's
I'm not downplaying it.
That's low-key a flawless run as well. I do think JID has a nicer flow than Denzel, but I do think that Denzel maybe shows a bit more flexibility in his skill set, especially when it comes to
cadences.
Exactly, the cadences. Also, the types of beats that he ends up writing out. I know JID, usually has super quirky production sometimes, and he's able to write out certain things.
Like a beat like a Stars, bro. Like that shit
exactly. Well, no,
amazing.
That was a bit more traditional boom bap. I mean, more of like a dance now, where you have like the Jewish folklore, like sample and back, and like you see him writing that out. I think that's a bit more impressive, but ultimately I would go with Denzel Curry.
All right, Denzel's going to advance. We're on the same fucking page today, guys. Next up, though, we have Kodak Black versus Offset. I think that when it comes to Kodak, he's always bringing you that street wisdom. He's always being super honest in his records. And honestly, he gets sort of underrated as a lyricist. You know what I mean? You go to songs like Unexplainable and, so much of what you're getting on Institution as well.
Everything 1K2.
Kodak really cuts deep, bro, with a lot of these with all these records and tracks. I think that Offset, maybe because of like how he was able to be part of one of the most legendary groups in hip hop, he sort of like stacks up against him. But as an overall rapper, I don't know, because Kodak's more hit or miss these days, bro. Let's be honest about it.
But I think the track record speaks for itself, especially within the 2010s. I mean, we were having a conversation about Kodak not too long ago, and I was just saying how I feel like, when you have to look at the stuff like the Little Big Pox or even like the Painting Pictures, for example, those are fantastic records where he's getting super vulnerable. But then you go into like stuff like the Bill Israels and stuff like that, and you're kind of left wanting more to a certain extent.
But Offset's been more consistent. You look at what he's done with Amigos, which obviously not all of the records hit, but you have classics in there like A Culture. Then you have Without Warning, which he did with 21. His own solo album was decent. Ultimately, though, I want to go Kodak Black.
No, it's not even a debate. It's gonna be
it's not a
Kodak Black.
debate?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was just letting you ramble on. I was like, where's he
Okay.
gonna go with this?
Okay.
Where's his explanation gonna lead him? Yeah, but obviously, I think Kodak's achieved a lot more than Offset within his career as well.
As
so.
a solo artist, for sure.
Absolutely.
Next up, though, we got Baby Keem versus Cordae. Another interesting matchup. I think that, who are we kidding? The best album between the two of them is The Lost Boy, in my
That's very true.
opinion.
People were very mad at that take actually on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was talking to some kids on Twitter and they're like, "Bro, like the Lost Boy sleepy, it's this and that." And I think that it's because people got from a bird's eye view and they were maybe a bit disappointed, so kind of jades the way people see the rest of his catalog. But The Lost Boy was one of the most hyped up debut albums of the past 10 years. I'm sorry. It's fantastic.
Grammy-nominated album for a good reason.
It's fantastic. You have so many different styles and substances as far as like production goes and even features on that track list. I do think that the Melodic Blue plays on a similar level, but I feel like The Lost Boy is a bit tighter of a track list if you have to ask me.
Also, not the biggest fan of Keem's like earliest mixtapes, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah,
Back
you've
for
said
My
that
Bitch
before.
is quality, but still, though, does it stack up to what Cordae's output has been? Like, even Cordae on this latest Doomsday song, bro, like, he absolutely murdered that role model beat. I think that better writer, does he have as unique of a DNA and sort of an identity as Keem is proving to have? Maybe not.
Stylistically, I think Baby Keem maybe
It's
gets
more
him.
exciting.
But the thing is that I like that traditionalist sort of factor to Cordae, where he's able to take these old, let's say, I wouldn't say flows or cadences, but you could tell that he's a purist when it comes to his
Yeah.
hip hop and the way that he approaches his music. And to be able to do that with the new generation and still have the mainstream appeal, I think is a very big
Yeah,
plus
well,
in
also
my
being
books.
able to write out trap beats. That's the thing too that we didn't consider is the fact that like he's able to rap over the same beats as
Yeah,
Baby
but-
Keem.
but-
Hold on. He's able to rap over those same beats, but he's able to, not be lyrical all the time. He's able to just flex and brag when he wants to be and sort of play on that same playing field.
Yeah,
but Baby Keem can't necessarily kick it all the way on the gospel type productions or the boom bap stuff that you're seeing Cordae tack on his projects.
I don't agree with you because when it comes down to versatility, I do think that Baby Keem does get
I'm
Cordae.
going Cordae, bro. Let's just cut the bullshit. I'm going Cordae on this.
I'd ultimately
You're going
go Baby.
Keem?
Yeah, I'd ultimately
All
go
right,
Baby
Nick
Keem.
is going to come in and be our tiebreaker for the first time today. What are you
For
saying,
the
bro?
first time today, I'm going Cordae, guys.
Yes,
Going
sir.
Cordae,
Let's
all
go.
right. So Cordae is going to be advancing. Lou, let's go on to the next one.
Next
What do
up, we got Joey Badass versus Pusha T, and this is a cool matchup because they actually do have a song together off of the Light Pack, which was No Explanation.
I really like it.
Yeah, it's not the only thing that we can base this off of, but Pusha T bodied him. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had the much better verse. I think that overall, in terms of artistry, they've both sort of, evolved in terms of their progression as artists, in terms of Pusha T going from being part of one of the best duos of all time to flourishing as a solo artist. And then you have Joey Badass, who's always sort of had that traditionalist, conscious hip hop as a part of his DNA.
Well, I think we have to give him credit also for the collective that he's built over the years with Pro Era and the way that he's been able to also make like collective albums like the Beast Coast tape, even stuff that he used to do with, let's say, Kirk Knight and Nick Caution back then.
I'm on Pusha
Capital
T.
C's. I'm going to be going Joey Badass on this one. I think that lyrically, I'm going Joey Badass. He's a lot more range when it comes to topics, when it comes to song concepts. I also think that maybe Pusha T stuff, yes, like I understand, like he's a top tier artist when it comes down to like the coke rap and that sort of stuff, but that's what he plays in. When you have Joey Badass, you find so many different types of pockets that he's able to fit into stylistically and also content matter wise. I think 1999 cancels out Daytona. I think that you have stuff like Before the Cash, and he does have a stronger solo catalog.
I don't think that Joey Badass has projects that will level up to Lord Willin, Hal Half, No Fury, and Daytona. Those three are just, yes, you have a 1999, but that's the only one that could really stack up to those classics from Pusha T.
I mean,
and
I
if we
don't
were to
agree
do an
with you.
all-time list today, Pusha T's ranking higher. Better delivery, better punchline rapper as well. But yeah, listen, if you're stuck on Joey, another tiebreaker, because you're not going to convince me.
Another tiebreaker. Why don't you guys try to like maybe come to an agreement? Just try.
I can't do it for this one.
I understand the all-time sort of thing. I guess I could go there. You can't do it. I don't see how you can't. I guess so. Listen, man, for the sake of the bracket, we'll just go with Pusha T. But
Why did you see Joey Badass win like the finals of this? Did you see him going that far? I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's easily one of the most skilled MCs on this
Absolutely,
bracket.
he is, but so is Pusha T.
And like he has, but he has the catalog to be able to back
So does
it
Pusha
up.
T.
Yeah, but I just told I
I would have said Pusha T.
Okay.
You see, there's no arguing that now. So okay, let's keep going.
Let's go on with Dave versus Freddie Gibbs. Two artists that have totally different wheelhouses when you look at their sound, the subgenres they play into as well. I think when it comes to Dave, it's hard to compare because he has a shorter catalog, right?
Much shorter catalog. Much shorter catalog. But I like that about Dave. I love how intentional he is with his music and the way that he decides to release it, because even going on to like a concept record like Psychodrama, do you have a concept record like that in Freddie's discography? Like concept record. Like conceptually, like how everything ties in together.
Not really.
Like songs like Leslie. I think that's a plus. But I mean, I can make pluses all I want. I still ultimately go with Freddie Gibbs. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, looking at what Freddie Gibbs has been able to do over the past like 10 years since Pinata, it's been absolutely spectacular. Projects like Fetty 2 and even his solo catalog is super underrated. And SSS is still one of my most played albums from last year, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think Freddie Gibbs has a better flow. I think that he's also more creative and more humorous with his lines too.
More creative? I'm not sure, because you go through Psychodrama and you get song concepts like a Leslie, and it's like, well, you've never really seen Freddie Gibbs do that.
I also feel like Freddie Gibbs is just really honing in and staying true to his craft throughout his whole career, whereas Dave is sort of going more into this pop and mainstream appeal with like the whole Central C collab project he just did.
Well,
it's just I don't know, and even him
well,
sort
it's
of
not a project. It was a song that he did. Sorry.
No, it was a little EP that they put out together.
It was the EP, right? Okay, no, sorry. I thought it was only the song you were speaking about. But regardless, though, like, it's not really a pop attempt. They're two pioneers right now from the UK that are getting a lot of mainstream appeal.
Listen to the EP. And
I did. No, I understand why.
leaning.
I understand why, but still, it's not like, well, these are pop hits and these are going to be like bubblegum. It's still good rapping. You're still getting quality from Dave. That's what I like from Dave. Is that
I think Dave's a bit overrated. I think that Psychodrama was great. We're all owning this together was also really fire.
He's not overrated.
But I just think I think that his whole, like, I've said this before, he likes to dramatize a lot of his music, and I feel like when you're going through
That's
that
so cool though.
Listen, if it's cool to you, it's cool to you. To me, it's not as enjoyable for a full record. But anyways, we both agree it's Freddie Gibbs, right?
It's gonna be Freddie, but I don't like the way you're talking about Dave, man. Come on.
You don't need to like it. It's just the way that I feel.
Like, how is he overrated, man? By like,
a lot of people think he's the best rapper in the game, like all fucking continents included. You know what I mean? People put him on that echelon.
I don't think he's the best rapper in the game, but he definitely deserves his flowers. Anyways,
he does.
Let's continue on with this. Let's go on to Logic versus Chance the Rapper. So I feel like these are two rappers where people just kind of like throw them off because of their recent track record and what they have going on. But I'm still a big fan of both of these artists. I've been listening to them for better off of a decade now, so I could genuinely get a good view of how I feel about both of them. Ultimately, though, I think I'm going to go with Logic, though. I'm going to give Logic some love on this.
I'm going to give Logic the W as well, bro. I think that obviously Chance the Rapper was more distinct as a voice coming into the 2010s, making that gospel rap mainstream. That was fucking big, bro.
That was massive.
That was massive.
That was absolutely massive.
I think in current form, they're both doing their thing as independent artists. I'm going to go Logic, too, on this, ultimately.
Yeah, we're going to go Logic on this one. But listen, I'm maybe this is because Starline Gallery hasn't dropped yet. That's the thing.
Maybe that'll change it.
That's an album I really want to see come through. Okay, so Logic is going to be advancing. Let's go on to Tyler versus Schoolboy Q. So at face value for 2023, I think a lot of people would say Tyler, but bro, Schoolboy Q has had an incredible run up to this date. He still hasn't dropped even a good project. Everything he's dropped has been great. As a rapper, I think he's a better rapper than Tyler is. I think we're safe to say that as well. But I don't know. This one's the one where I'm like, well, where am I going with this?
I'm looking at, I think like the way that we're sort of like deciding who wins for this whole fucking bracket is just overall like artistry for the hip hop genre. And when we factor in what Tyler's been able to do, I don't think that his 3-run album could be touched by Schoolboy Q or let alone any other modern rapper as of right now, besides like the Kendricks and what have you. But when it comes to Tyler, I just feel like he continuously evolves and gives us these soundscapes that are so perfectly curated and sequenced. Obviously, he has the first half of his catalog that, you know, who the fuck's listening to Cherry Bomb and really appreciating it? Not
Why?
me.
What's wrong with Cherry Bomb?
But we're not going to have this conversation. Cherry Bomb is it's not an amazing album.
Come on. It's not an amazing album.
Mean,
you
come
can go
on.
back
Why are you
to
looking at me crazy, bro?
Because you can go back to a Smuckers. You tell me you don't go back to Smuckers?
There's a couple of songs. It's not going to make it for a good album because I like Smuckers and Find Your Wings. I'm not going to go back to the whole album.
You're talking about it like it's a complete miss of his album.
I never said it's a total miss. I said that when you look at that first half of his catalog, you have the Goblins and the Cherry Bombs that aren't that quality,
you just said
bro.
Who's going back?
Yeah, the production's not great on Cherry Bomb. I'm sorry to break it to you. You like to talk about like Death Grips and how they create pools of noises? Go listen to Cherry Bomb's production.
No, because that was because of your Yeezus and ex-military take. That one I didn't agree with whatsoever.
Okay, so are you going with Schoolboy Q?
I'm gonna go with Schoolboy Q. I think when you have to look at him as a gangster rapper and what he's been able to do in the 2010s was the most dominant within that, and the unique factor that he brought to that lane. As I said before, I also think that Schoolboy Q is a better rapper than Tyler when it comes down to song concepts and also the way that
When
he's
it
able
comes
to pen
down
his
to
game.
song concepts, come on, bro. Stuff
Why?
like Colossus is not an amazing song concept.
I never mentioned Colossus in the single breath.
What
I
I'm
just
trying to
took.
tell
I
you
just-
is that
but you look at
I don't
Groovy
think
Tony
that's
and
an
Keem.
argument. I don't think that's an argument that puts him above Tyler. I also think that in terms of topical range, the same argument that you put in with Pusha T, Joey Badass, Tyler does have more topical range overall. I'm going Tyler the Creator here.
I'm gonna be going Schoolboy Q on this one.
And I'm
Nick?
going Tyler the Creator.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
so Tyler is going to be advancing for this next matchup. Let's continue going on with this. Lou, what is it?
Next up on side B, the second half of the bracket, we have Polo G versus Central C. I think that Central C is cool. It's pretty funny because I saw once in an interview he said that like his biggest influences are like Jay-Z and Kendrick, and I'm like, it's not fucking translating in your music, bro. But nonetheless, yeah, listen, I think that it's cool to see that he's been one of the rappers to really break into the U.S. Market and really have a lot of success here.
A big influence as well on the U.S. market.
Just not a fan of the projects, to be honest with you. He dropped 23, which was his latest project last year. Wasn't too big on that. Doja was cool as a hit record. But ultimately, I think that Polo G is the more poignant rapper, better messages in the music. The production maybe isn't as strong. But that's really the only downfall to Polo G as of right now.
Yeah, but you still find some highlights in production on Die Legend and even the GOAT, excuse me. But I mean, for the most part, I do agree with you. I think that we're going to give Polo G a dub here just because what he's able to do as a modern rapper is actually really solid. And people often think that we don't like Polo G, but I'm fucking rooting for Polo G at every single turn that he drops an album. I feel like he does have a unique aspect to his music, and he's able to give you something fresh and unique on a record when he wants to.
He's missing that one infinity stone. He's missing the fucking production. And I think once he locks in with a solid producer like a Hit Boy, maybe someone that has his hands on every sort of subgenre and can play in every field, I think he can sort of cater a good soundscape to Polo G.
Well, people said that would be the case with Southside, but from the singles that I've heard so far, even snippets, I mean, it's kind of it feels the same. It maybe just feels the same for Polo G to a certain
That's why I don't
extent.
think Southside was the best guy to go with, in my opinion.
No, absolutely
but
not.
let's move on now. We have Polo G advancing, but we now have Trippie Redd versus Don Toliver. Another interesting case where obviously Don Toliver's catalog is a bit shorter. He is newer on the scene, but ultimately I want to go with Trippie Redd. I think that he's had a bigger influence on the genre in terms of him really kicking off the whole rage phase that we're in now, which, I mean, fuck, I'm not that big of a fan of it, but
whatever.
I have to
it
give
does
him love
something.
for it. It does something.
Yeah, it does something. It's definitely a criteria here.
Yeah, I think that Trippie Redd also can fit into the melodic lane the way that Don Toliver can, just that he also has that rapping side to him also. I think that he's a better spitter. I think that his projects, his highest highs, like A Love Letter to You, or looking at something like Life's a Trip, I feel like those highs swing
he has a better
over
he has a
Don
better
T.
solo catalog. Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
also think that when it comes to solo catalog for Don Toliver, sorry, I just dropped my AirPods. It's kind of hard to judge it because it always feels like he's not able to carry a full track list sometimes. Example, going on to something like Lovesick. I mean, we put out the review. If you guys want to watch it, you could go ahead on the channel. One of the complaints I had was that it just gets stagnant after a while, and I think more and more people are starting to realize, well, maybe he does better when he's featured on a project or when he has that sort of song going for him. And as you said, I do think when it comes to the skill set, Trippie Redd has it, bro. Like, this guy's a super talented rapper, but as of late, I haven't been that big of a fan of his solo albums. So I don't know. I'd probably go Trippie Redd, though, ultimately.
Trippie Redd is my answer, too. Okay, next up, we got Gunna versus Roddy Ricch. I'm at a crossroads with this one, bro, just because, like, obviously Roddy's track record hasn't been the best, but in terms of strictly talent, in terms of who's been more refreshing into my rotation, who I'm more anxious and curious to hear more music from, the answer is going to be Roddy Ricch. Obviously, Gunna has a pretty cool catalog for the
Gunna
trap
has
scene.
a much better solo catalog.
I just
Call
think
a spade a spade. He's a much better
that
solo
better catalog, but I still,
He has a better catalog.
to me, please excuse me for being antisocial. The only Gunna album that could rival it to me is DS3.
Wanna. For sure, Wanna. Absolutely.
Good album, but
Even
not
Drip
better than Please
even as
Excuse
Drip
Me.
Harder within his catalog as well. But listen, this is the reason why I'm going to go with Gunna over Roddy Ricch. What you said about the refreshing factor, I don't think it's true for Roddy Ricch anymore. You know what you're going to get, and you know what you're going to get going with it. Example, like you go into Roddy Ricch's catalog, like you have the Rolls Royce bars, you have Out the Mud bars, you have him like whining, like it's like okay, you know, we get it. And not only that, but I just feel
Gunna's content doesn't get repetitive. Obviously, on this last album, it was different because his whole life took a turn.
You have the last album to be able to at least play on it. I think the track record as a whole, and even as of recently, has been in Gunna's favor.
Listen, like I told you, I was at a crossroads, but I could see why Gunna would get the edge.
Of course, no.
I could see
Listen,
why.
Gunna won it, baby.
But
I know.
We just can't do the same thing we did for the rapper versus rapper video where Gunna was like fucking cleaning house with
Why?
everybody.
Let Gunna cook. Let Gunna
I don't
cook.
think you could let Gunna cook
Let
over
Gunna
a
cook.
Trippie Red, but we'll see when we get to that. Next up, we got Durkio versus Lil Yachty. Fucking very interesting matchup. Just
Stylistically,
because
they do so many different things.
so many different things. I'm not a huge fan of either of their catalogs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, let's have the conversation of the catalogs out of this because I don't think I'm not a fan of either of their catalogs as well. I think stylistically as a rapper, maybe Yachty does a bit more than Durk does as far as melodic performances, as far as the type of different genres he could touch. Even at that, I'm a big fan of his Michigan flow. That's something that not a lot of people give him credit for is his Michigan flow. I feel like he does it super well, and Michigan Boy was actually a decent listen if you go all the way throughout it. So stylistically, I think Yachty gets him. Maybe on the subject matter, you could find more from Durk just because like Yachty's never been intentional with his lyrics like that. Maybe just as of late when you go on the track list, like a Let's Start Here, for example. But even at that, lyrically, he kind of took a step back on that album and let the production do its thing and the features do its thing. Ultimately,
I'm going Lil Yachty on this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that when it comes to Durk, you're getting a lot of copy and paste tracks all over his catalog. When it comes to Lil Yachty, at least there's that excitement of like, what's he gonna do next? He just did a psych rock album.
Recently.
Even with the Poland single, that was brand new. That was totally different from the entire hip hop landscape. I just think that Yachty is that guy that wants to shift the culture a bit more, whereas Durk is just like he's just loafing. On the couch.
Okay,
you know?
but I don't think he's loafing because the guy's making a fuckload of music and it takes a lot of energy to do that. I think stylistically, maybe just has anywhere to go anymore. Maybe that's the problem.
Not yet, at least. But he's making an effort.
I'm talking about for Durk. I'm talking about for Durk as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're going with Durk? Because you seem like unsure.
I think Durk is a better spitter, but I think overall, as far as artistry goes, because that's what we're going off of, right, for this bracket.
Catalog, everything.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Yachty on this one. But
All
okay,
right.
want to continue going?
Next up, a very interesting matchup. JPEGMAFIA versus Danny Brown. The student versus the master. This is very interesting to me just because I think that as of right now, I would argue that JPEGMAFIA is in better form. Obviously, he contributed and I would say gave more of his gifts to Scaring the Hose than Danny Brown did just because he curated the whole soundscape. But this is not a producer bracket after all. We can't really...
yeah, but it's a total artistry thing.
For hip-hop, yeah. Total hip-hop artistry
So, I mean,
thing.
you were using those arguments for Tyler, though. So I feel like we got to use them for JPEGMAFIA here.
We can use them here, but I still think that the catalog stands stronger for Danny Brown. Looking at XXX, looking at Atrocity
an
Exhibition.
LP and a veteran play up to those projects, though. And now Scaring the Hose.
I just think that
cancel out.
I think that when it comes to Danny Brown, he's just one of the funniest rappers. He adds the comedy in there, but he also has some of the craziest punchlines. I think that when it comes vocally and stylistically as well, he is one of the most oddball and goofiest characters that hip hop has ever seen, and he's truly one of a kind. He sort of broke the mold for a JPEGMAFIA to have that door open and sort of excel the way that he did. Not only
That's true.
but in terms of just like really sticking to like Detroit and like bringing in techno into hip hop. Like he was what that guy to fuse so many different genres for hip hop albums.
I still think XXX and Atrocity Exhibition top anything that JPEG has, even like because I'm a big fan of LP.
Yeah.
And I think that it automatically tops off that. I think that even if you want to have the conversation of who did better on Scaring the Hose, you can't even go with a direction because they both contributed equally. And I think that if you didn't have Danny Brown on that album, it would become a completely different story with the project. I think it would still be quality, but Danny Brown just added an extra edge, and that's what I like about Danny Brown is that he adds that edge to a track that you can't get from any other rapper. Stylistically, vocally, he is completely unique to anyone else in the game right now. Let's go Danny Brown.
Danny Brown. Next up, Big Sean versus Childish Gambino. Childish Gambino, another artist who sort of had his beginnings more into the rap sphere and then sort of steered off.
I think I'm going to go Childish Gambino. ultimately I'm gonna go Childish Gambino. I
But
think that
you can include Awaken My Love though, because
why? I talked about
No,
Let's
we're-
Start Here for Lil Yachty.
we spoke about it, but this is a hip
Come
hop
on.
rapper bracket. You know what I
But
mean?
we just gave points to Yachty, how he said that it keeps things refreshing and how it's able to go with things. No, absolutely.
But
we could
I would
consider
want to
it,
know,
you
like, Awaken My Love aside, would you have still chosen Childish Gambino?
I don't. Does Big Sean have a project better than Because of the Internet?
Detroit is not really on the level to me.
No. Detroit's not better than Because of the
Um,
Internet. Dark Sky Paradise? No.
I do think Big Sean's
Undecided?
I do think Big Sean's the better rapper in comparison to Childish Gambino.
But we're doing Total Artistry.
I think catalog wise, Childish Gambino, like even aside, I'm not taking in Awaken My Love into this, and I shouldn't have taken and considered Let's Start Here because it's a hip hop bracket.
Why? Why not? It's their work.
Well, at that point,
It's
at
them.
that point, we could have brought in Anderson .Paak and have
he's
him
not
sweep
here.
everybody, but he could have been. Anyways, I would probably go with
get
Childish
anxious.
Gambino.
You see, you got anxious for nothing. We were on the same page. You just start like raging. Come on.
I'm not raging. I'm just explaining my arguments, man.
I mean, like, because that's the thing. If the rapper's here, then you have to look at him as a totality. You have to. There's no doubt behind that. I think it's a reasonable thing to look at their catalog and even stuff that's stylistically out of their wheelhouse. You have to.
Yeah, it's a
part of the
rapper
track
hip
record.
hop bracket though.
Yeah,
No,
but
that's
we're
sort
not.
of what
It's
it is
not.
by
It's not a
definition.
lyricist.
We never
bracket.
said it was a lyricist bracket.
But you said
though.
Total Artistry. Total Artistry is everything. We have to.
All right, let's move on to Meek Mill versus 21 Savage. I'm going to have a hot take right off the top and say that Meek Mill is going to get the edge for me. I think that when you look at Meek Mill's mixtape catalog, it's fucking legendary. When you're looking at like those old Meek Mill freestyles, there was just a different hunger to the way that he was spitting. I also think that Meek Mill's catalog is underappreciated. Even listening to an album
Yeah,
like
DC4.
Dreams and Nightmares.
Yeah.
That's an amazing album. I feel like it gets overshadowed because it came out around the same time as Good Kid, Mad City in 2012. But you have songs in there like Traumatized that will just chill you to your core. And also Championships was another really solid album.
That was really solid.
I think in current form, obviously 21 Savage is in better form.
But overall, yeah, it goes to Meek Mill.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it goes to Meek Mill.
Easy.
I don't even think that's a question. I do think, though, after maybe a time has advanced and stuff, we'll see how the decade plays out, that maybe 21 Savage will make the claim for himself. But, yeah, it's Meek Mill all the way. And you guys know how I feel about Meek Mill. I'm not the biggest fan of his music, but give the guy credit where it's due, you know? But let's keep going on with this. Let's do Wiz Khalifa versus Isaiah Rashad. Both two rappers that just make the perfect smoke rotation, man. Like, I've had
do.
these guys in rotation for such a long time, especially when it comes to my sessions. I think that they both strive in different areas. I think that when you look at Wiz Khalifa, it's a lot more direct when it comes to his deliveries and when it comes to his rapping. I do feel like that could get maybe a bit one-dimensional at certain points, but I do think that Wiz Khalifa has had the catchier hooks over the years, more iconic tracks. But when you want to look at the catalogs, Isaiah Rashad has been a lot more intentional. His artistry has been on a completely different level. Not only that, but he's one of the best beat choosers. So like someone that just goes into a project and is able to bring in all these types of different unique productions in rap as a
Yeah,
whole.
the beat
right
selection's great.
It's
Isaiah for me, there's not much of an argument. It's actually a pretty easy one in my
You
opinion.
think so? You think it's as easy as it is? Because you still have Kush and Roger, you still have Rolling Papers, you have those types of projects.
Like he had like the early sort of takeoff, and now it's been bad project after bad project for Wiz.
As of recent, it hasn't been that well, but I think he's past his heyday. You know, he's just
Yeah.
making music to make it. But okay,
Round 2,
round 2.
we made it.
All right, we made it. Let's keep going on with this. A$AP Rocky versus Denzel Curry. This one's tough because, like, I know he's a favorite for you and for me, but I'm a big favorite of A$AP Rocky. Catalog-wise, where would I actually go with that? That's a hard question.
This is a really tough one.
This is a tough one. They both do two different things stylistically.
They do very different things. In terms of who's just the better rapper, period, I think Zell gets the edge, but that's not the only thing that we could look at.
I feel like A$AP Rocky is better with his production.
But production's better there.
Yeah, but production's better on A$AP Rocky's side. I do think when you have to look at the highs of the catalog, I am still taking it at Long Last A$AP over a Taboo. I'm taking it over Melt My Eyes. My opinion.
I'm taking a Taboo over at Long Last A$AP.
Live Love
personally.
A$AP is a huge fucking player in this one for me too. It is.
Those are the two. That's what it is, though. It's the mixtape and a Long Last A$AP versus Melt My Eyes and Taboo. But you have Imperial, which slots in right there.
Well, Long Live A$AP is on the same level. If not, yeah, it's better than Imperial. I give Long Live A$AP better than Imperial. It is.
No, I personally wouldn't. I would
You have
go
songs on there
Imperial.
like One Train. You have fucking Problems.
Okay,
You have
and you have
Angels.
Zenith, and you have Gook, and you have so much others, bro. Like
Yeah, you do.
Tomorrow's Not Here. And like that just painted an amazing picture of what it was like for Denzel to grow up in Florida, bro. Like that was his upcoming.
Yeah, I understand the narrative of the album, but I'm not
Sick.
saying that. But I still do think Long Live ASAP is better. This is gonna be a tiebreaker for
I'm
me.
going Zell.
I'm gonna go ASAP Rocky on this one. Shout out my boy Rocky. Okay.
Can you guys guess where I would go for this?
I think you're going Rocky, Nick. Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So there
Okay,
we go.
ASAP Rocky's
There
gonna
we
knock
go.
out Denzel Curry.
There we go. Fire. There we go. My boy
Guys,
Rocky.
it wasn't my doing. Don't point the gun at me, guys.
That's
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry for the bracket. It's just a bracket. It's never that
Oh,
serious.
fuck.
Kodak Black versus Cordae. Kodak Black versus Cordae.
What a tough matchup. I think that I think that over time I'd be more inclined to say Cordae once the catalog develops, but based on what we have right now and based on the impact,
I go Kodak.
I want to go Kodak Black over Cordae.
I low-key go Kodak.
Kodak Black?
Okay, what would have happened if we had Kodak versus Offset? Oh, it'd still be Kodak.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Kodak could make a bit of a run over here. Okay, let's take it. Let's keep going on with this. Where are we at?
Next up, I believe we have Pusha T going up against Freddie Gibbs. Right?
All right, Pusha T.
We always have this conversation, and I feel like we're always on opposite ends of it. Every single time you lean more towards Freddie Gibbs, I lean more towards Pusha T. I just want to say that, like, I know you're going to bring in, oh, he brought in The Alchemist and Madlib, and I know, bro, those soundscapes are fucking amazing. You don't have to tell me twice. But you also can't overlook that he's had two of the best producers of all time with Pharrell and the Neptunes, and then Kanye West formulating some of the best soul sample flips and some of the most daring production. Looking at a beat like Grindin', there were no other beats in the 2000s that sounded anything like that. And I just think that
Where are you going, bro?
I'm going Pusha T.
All right, it's over. Okay, I'm going Freddie Gibbs.
And Nick is going to go Freddie Gibbs.
Well, listen, I gave Pusha T the win the first time, and I'm not giving it the second
I
time.
knew
It's
it.
Freddie Gibbs.
There we
No
go.
surprises there.
No, it's absolutely Freddie Gibbs.
I'm okay
at
with
least,
that.
At least in my opinion. Yeah, this
I'm
this
not
one
going to
was
be hurt
even.
about that one.
No, you can't get hurt about that one.
Next up, though, we have Logic going against Tyler. This is an easy one. I'll be honest with you. I think that, like,
Tyler, get in here, my guy.
could you say Logic's a better rapper, though, bar for bar?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could give him. I give him the credit where it's due for
I just
that.
don't want to have the narrative around Tyler that like he's like kind of like a bad lyricist. He's not. He's a great writer. I
course.
just think that like when you look at the purist like a Schoolboy Q and you look at a Logic,
Nah, bro. Like,
It's hard.
Listen to, like, an Okra. Listen to a Corso. Like,
I've been listening to these songs for a long time.
I know. So you wouldn't say that Tyler's a weak rapper.
I never said that. I said I don't want to start that narrative. I don't want to.
but
I don't.
I truly think, and you might call me crazy for this, he is very close, if not on the level of a Schoolboy Q bar for bar. I really do believe that.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just so hard to calculate. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, as they like to call it. But okay, very interesting. Tyler is going to be advancing. Polo G versus Trippie.
Polo G versus Trippie Red. Oh, man.
This one's interesting. I'll let you take the wheel on this one. I'll let you because I can go
think
either
that,
way
like,
with it.
yeah, Polo G's like whole moniker has been like the hit maker and also making
Yeah,
songs.
I think so. I feel
Absolutely,
like it's,
bro,
but I
like-
feel like he's also had that side to him where like he's the voice, like he's able to like bring up his community where he's rapping about his real shit. Like he's on that vibe too. I don't feel like it's right to just call him the hit maker.
I didn't say he's just a hit maker, but I'm saying that's like when you have like Polo G fans sort of rallying up together, the hits are something that come into play with like Pop Out or looking at even something like a Rap Star or
Yeah,
whatever
but he has
else.
his Bloody Canvases, for example, where you're getting really good writing.
Yeah, just over poor production for the most part. I'm going Trippie Red on this.
Yeah, let's go Trippie. I'm not even gonna argue on that one.
Why? What'd you have?
I just think like diversity aside, like I feel like Trippie Red's a much better hook man. I feel like he also has much better production all throughout his catalog. He has the higher highs. He's been here for longer, and you've been able to see the impact of Trippie Red. Trippie's making a bit of a fucking run over here. I
He
like
is.
this. All right,
I love to
Trippie
see
Red,
it.
baby. Trippie
But
Red.
next up, we have Gunna versus Lil Yachty. Let's go. Where do you want to go with this? You want to go Gunna? I think that, again, to me, if you're asking me who would I rather get a new album from in 2024, I'm choosing Lil Yachty every
That
day.
is not the question.
Way more
Who-
interesting.
Who are you picking in this? Come on. Let's just get this out of the way. It's gonna be easier as soon as you say it. Come on. Are you serious?
You know what? It low-key doesn't even matter because I'm looking at this bracket now, and the winner of this is going to have to go up against...
Trippie.
Is it going to... Yeah,
It is gonna be
Trippie.
Trippie.
And neither of them are going to be Trippie, so Do whatever you want, bro. I'll give you the carte blanche here.
Gunna wanna.
What do you want? You want Gunna wanna? Sure.
Gunna wanna.
Sure.
Yeah, why? You don't think Gunna wanna makes an argument
He's not
against
beating Trippie
Trippie?
Red, no.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, boss. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's have
Guys,
this
if you didn't know,
I'm gonna.
Ant believes that Gunna is the GOAT. If you guys did not realize, that's why he
I
makes
called
the
his last
biggest
album
pushes.
mid. I gave his. I gave his last album mid.
Relax, bro.
But he
Okay.
is low-key the GOAT.
Next up, though, we're gonna have
Danny Brown versus Childish Gambino. I want to go Danny. I'm okay with a Danny pick here.
Yeah, I mean,
I think whoever makes it past these next two, bro, is like slicing and dicing. for the
again,
finals.
though, like Camp was a great project as well. I think that with Childish Gambino, he has been more versatile in terms of just jumping from genre to genre the way that he had. I
give Danny Brown flow. I gave him writing. I give him his voice as well. Production styles is even. I don't want to say
that's
that.
even, bro.
Yeah, that's even. That is even. You're right. Then maybe even Childish gets him. But catalog.
Even the hits go to Childish Gambino in terms of songs like Feels Like Summer, looking at like 3005, like
A Redbone as well.
yeah. It's tough. It's tougher than it seems, you know what I mean?
It
But
just depends what you're looking for today. Do you want to be more of a purist or do you want to like get more eccentric?
stay with Danny Brown.
Danny Brown.
I think Danny Brown
Yeah, all right.
is low key like
Shout out Danny.
a front runner.
If you guys don't know about the podcast, massive advocates for this guy. I've been listening to him for such a long time. Do you remember Kush Coma?
Yeah.
Off of GTA 5? What a song.
Fucking banger.
What an incredible song. Okay, Meek Mill versus Isaiah Rashad.
Ooh, you see, this is where it gets tricky. Obviously, there's been way more bloat within Meek Mill's catalog. With Isaiah, shorter catalog, and just the most unique, cloudy approach to his southern drawl. Just a one-of-a-kind artist with Isaiah Rashad,
That's what
and
I'm
I think
saying,
that
bro.
I want to lean more towards Isaiah on here.
I'm going to go more towards Isaiah as well. I do prefer his highs within the catalog. I'm a big fan of Sylvia Demo and the Sun's Tirade. I've spoken about many times on the podcast how I love Isaiah's music and I will constantly bump it till I go. I mean, that was kind of dark though. But talking about Meek Mill,
It's tough. It's tough to leave him
it
out
is
of
tough.
here, bro.
And you know how much I don't necessarily enjoy his voice all that much, but where credit is due, credit is due. It's hard to play here with Meek Mill.
It is, bro. It really is. Like, just in terms of that motivational hip hop, like he's one of those guys that in any sort
but
of
you get that. Let's say through the Heavenly Fathers, like he makes like Isaiah Rashad makes some.
it's
deep
more of like
fucking
the
music.
therapeutic, like let me like get a new rejuvenation for the soul with Isaiah. Whereas for Meek Mill, it's like
more the hunger rap.
yeah.
I'm going Isaiah. Where are you going?
I said Isaiah, but honestly, it is a tough one. Like it actually hurts that we have Gunna going this far and Meek Mill is just losing it right now.
Well, that's the bracket, baby.
That's the way it's organized. I can't
That's the
complain.
way that's the way it works. So
Isaiah.
there we go. All right, let's continue going on with this. Let's go on to round 3. This time to start this off, we have ASAP Rocky versus Kodak Black. Please, let's save some time.
Let's save some time. Let's do
save
it.
some time. Yeah, okay,
ASAP
all right.
Rocker is gonna advance on this.
You ever see the way Miley Cyrus?
Yeah, that's
pronounces
what I was
it?
referencing. Yeah,
that's why I was
that's what
thinking
it
about
was.
it. Okay, this one's interesting though. Freddie Gibbs versus Tyler.
Freddie Gibbs and Tyler.
Now your whole argument about the 3-album run cannot be used.
Absolutely, it could be because SSS is not touching the last, like any of the last 3 of Tyler's run. So obviously it could be used. What do you mean?
No, it's not touching. I think it touches "Call Me If You Get Lost." I think it's up there. I think it's up there for sure.
There's no skips on Call Me If You Get Lost. That's a major difference right there.
You had a skip on "Call Me If You Get Lost," if I remember correctly. On these albums, have any skips?
Did I?
What did you speak about? Which song was it that you didn't like?
Lemonhead I liked. I'm going through the track list now.
What did you enjoy off that track list?
I don't remember not fucking with anything. I mean, there's songs that I feel like are maybe a bit average, but nonetheless, forgetting that all aside, again, you wanted to like really look at all-time artistry. Freddie Gibbs also doesn't have like classic after classic after classic. You know what I mean? Looking at like his self-titled or Shadow of a Doubt. I'm not saying that they're like as weak as a Goblin, for instance, but we can't put them on that upper echelon tier either. I think that when it comes to Tyler, he's given you that horrorcore. He's given you.
Can't use that argument. I don't think you can.
I'm saying that there's more. Of course, I could use that argument
Why?
stylistically.
But I mean, you said
stylistically,
you started off
he's done more.
You started off the beginning of this episode saying who revisits the beginning half of his thing, and now you're using it as a garment.
You do.
I know I do, but
I'm not
just
the
saying
poster boy for revisiting Tyler's catalog, but I know that there's a lot
So
of
then
people
how
that
are you
do.
going to use it as a strength in an argument? That makes no sense. It's counterintuitive.
It's not counterintuitive when I'm looking at what he has in his arsenal, and he has the horrorcore style. He has more of that soulful Madlib type production that Freddie could rap over as well.
Production. He has.
All right, bro. All right, you're going Freddie Gibbs? Is that what you're gonna say? Because I'm not.
Okay. It's never that serious, bro.
Little indecisive Anthony here. Where's he gonna go?
I just want to pick Freddie Gibbs to piss you off.
It's not gonna piss me off. Like I'm all worried. Like I think that Tyler
I
is
just want to piss you
the
off.
sure answer. But if you want to go Freddie, sure.
No, I'll give you the satisfaction. I'll give you the satisfaction for today. I just don't want to. Like,
Thank you so much, bro. It means the world to me. Let's keep on going. Next up, what do we have?
Trippie versus Gunna. Listen, I know where you're going with this. You know where I'm going with this. Let's take it. Let's do. You were gonna do the same thing to me last round. Let's do it.
Let's take what?
Let's do it tonight.
The tiebreaker?
Let's do the tiebreaker straight. I don't think there's anything that's gonna like dead set me on going with
Well, you know
Trippie.
where I'm going to. That's the thing, right? So, do you want to bring it there?
Do you want to do this?
I'll bring it, Nick.
Do you want to do
Bring
this?
it on.
Do you want
Gunna it is.
All right, Gunna's going to go on to the fucking semifinals of this bracket.
Yes, sir. There we go.
This is embarrassing. Okay.
Why? Why is it embarrassing? Gunna won it, baby.
I don't think he'd be on my list of like top 100 rappers that are active today. I really
That's
don't
so
think he'd make
harsh.
it.
Today?
Today, yeah, absolutely. Including
I feel
underground
like
rappers.
Fridget's mad at that statement.
Including underground rappers as well. No, he's not there for me. But listen, bro.
Come on, you gotta retract the statement.
Or
at a
you
certain-
could put your mouth as wide open as you want. It's not gonna make me change my opinion,
Gunna
brother.
is not a top 100 active rapper
You know
right
what?
now.
That should be a video. I'll put together a list of 100 rappers that I can make arguments for all being better than Gunna. I'll do it. Easy money.
That's a bit extreme. I get you don't want the guy to advance, but that's a bit of an extreme take.
I don't have a bias against the
Come
guy. I
on.
just don't think his music's like
Gunna
that
won it,
crazy,
baby.
bro.
No, the guy makes fire music.
Sure.
I agree. I don't think his last album was good, but come on, it's Gunna wanna.
I'm all worried about Gunna Wanna. You could say Gunna Wanna as many times, bro.
Gunna wanna. Okay, next up, Danny Brown versus Isaiah Rashad.
Ooh, you see, this is a tricky one.
This is so different as far as mood goes.
It
you
is
want
so
one
different.
guys for like just bang your head against the wall and trying to get like as like into the experiences you possibly can, and then Isaiah Rashad is just like, oh, let's relax. Nice summer day, sunny day. Where are you going?
I'm
gonna go Isaiah.
They do such different things. I mean, when you're looking at Isaiah, I think that he's the better hook writer. He makes the better mood music. It's more accessible, bro. Like I feel like I could listen to Isaiah a bit more often. But in terms of just who's been more experimental, who's been more daring, who's really like shook me and made me like reconsider what a hip hop song could be and sound like, it has been Danny Brown. I think that for the whole experimental wave that we're seeing today with the JPEGMAFIAs and with all the other artists that are sort of within that realm, I think Danny Brown has had the stronger influence and impact on the game. In current form, I do think that Scaring the Hoes, even though it's a collab album, is slightly better than The House is Burning. I want to go Danny Brown on this, to be honest with you. Slightly. And listen, I
agree with your arguments, though. I think your arguments are all valid for Danny Brown. It's just, for me, I feel like Isaiah Rashad maybe brings a bit more to the table than Danny Brown does stylistically. He's able to do more. I prefer him as a vocalist as well. I prefer just the way that he's able to lay down these smooth melodies.
Yeah.
I also think that the track record speaks for itself with Isaiah. No, because you do have it would be easier if Quaranta was out. It would be easier.
Yeah,
if
but
Quaranta
listen,
was out.
you have your XXX, you have your Atrocity, you have your You Know What I'm Sayings, you have your developed catalog with Danny Brown.
Would you do Sylvia Dem or the Sun's Tirade over Atrocity? I prefer the projects.
I don't know. Atrocity is just a fucking exhilarating experience, bro.
It is an exhilarating experience.
Unlike anything. That's the thing. It's
an album that we said has no skips too.
That's why it's unlike anything I've ever heard in the genre. So I'm leaning towards Danny Brown ultimately.
This is tough.
This one
it's
is
a tough
tough. Yeah,
one.
this
This
one
is
is
tough because my preference is Isaiah, but to kind of put the bias aside, I understand what Danny Brown does, and when I do put the bias aside, I'm still going Isaiah. So
All right, Isaiah is gonna advance on this.
There we go. Gunna versus Isaiah. There we go.
Do we even have to? I'm not even saying a single word once we get to that matchup. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's nothing to be said. But is that where we're at right now? No.
No. We're at ASAP Rocky versus Tyler.
Wow. I didn't even know we were gonna like leading up to this. We didn't design it and be like, oh, the last round of side A is gonna be Rocky versus Tyler, but it just so happens that we're here now. ASAP Rocky versus Tyler.
Rocker, as Miley Cyrus would say.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. Where could we go with this? I mean, again, who's the better rapper? To me, obviously, like
I think the better rapper conversation here is quite even. If anything,
it's quite even.
I'd probably give it to Tyler here.
So, what would your arguments be for Rocky? Because I'm trying to sort of formulate what they would be. I don't know.
Better mixtape out.
Okay.
Solo catalog is maybe on the same level as like.
Ooh. I don't know.
It's a 3-album run and a full catalog. You have to keep that in mind. And a full catalog. It's not like it's the only 3 albums.
Wolf is a really good album too, though.
It is, but I'm just saying, like I'm go back to your statement. Who revisits the first half of Tyler's catalog? Quote
Yeah,
Luca
but
Guarini.
like bias aside, I don't think Testing is the strongest album either. I don't think that.
It's a great listen.
Sure.
I would rate it a great
But
rating.
still, it's like bias aside, you still can't, in my opinion, put anything besides A Long Last ASAP and Little of ASAP as next to like Tyler's greatest triumphs to me.
But you just named 2 albums that stack up next to the 3.
2 to 3, not 3 to 3 though. Tyler's got the better catalog to me. Better rapper, slightly maybe. Yeah, I'm going Tyler on this.
Yeah, I initially said Tyler. I think I'll go Tyler with this one. But okay, Gunna versus Isaiah Rashad. No, we're going Isaiah Rashad. Don't worry. I want to give you a mini heart attack today.
I told you. I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to comment on the
But listen,
Gunna.
we have a crazy fucking final. This is as unique as you could possibly get it.
It is,
Tyler
guys.
versus Isaiah. Because now, that 3-album run's in question for me. It is. I could say Isaiah has equally as good as a 3-album run.
Yes, and you could say that it's like with Isaiah, he has fewer misses. Let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, Isaiah hasn't missed. Obviously, if he had 6, 7 albums to his name, maybe there'd be more room for weakness, but this is tough. This is really tough.
You know what? I'm going to go Tyler on this one. Come on. Who are we kidding? It is Tyler.
It is Tyler. I think that Tyler's the creator.
No, let's call
also,
a spade
in
a
terms
spade.
of current form, I think that Tyler is just like, bro, this guy's deluxe album is better than 99% of rapper studio albums.
It's just the taste making. I feel like that's really what it is for me. I feel like Tyler's taste making is on a completely
It's not
different
only the
level.
taste making. I think it's even just like the concepts that he, forges with his albums. It's the sequencing of them. It's his ability to.
The cinematic value as well within his projects, I feel like, is a really underrated aspect. Looking at what he's also able to do vocally, I think that him producing his entire catalog and sequencing everything and just taking care of everything on that end definitely has an addition to me. So yeah, I think Tyler is going to win it for today.
Absolutely,
So listen, we
guys.
had some hot takes in this one. This bracket was fucking weird. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Looking at face value, like who is the one rapper besides Tyler that you're like, this guy could go all the way and take it? I was looking at like Jid and Denzel being serious frontrunners.
Yeah, but they got bounced super easy.
They
though.
did.
That was the weird part, is I feel like they didn't make it.
I thought Danny Brown was gonna. I think that if Danny Brown would have beat Isaiah, there could have been an argument to make him win the whole thing.
No, not over Tyler.
I think there could have been an argument there, but that's a conversation for another time. Guys, let us know how you enjoyed the bracket. Who would have been your winner, and which bracket would you guys like to see us do next? As we said at the beginning, if you guys do want to see more brackets and you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And we do now have our YouTube memberships up and running. So if you guys do want to get early access to videos and other cool features, link available in the description. Thank you guys so much for all the support lately. It's been beautiful, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.